Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Ice Wolves Insider.
And it's Liam Brennan, the hat-trick
Lots to
goal.
talk about
Win.
this episode. Of course, the win over the Bombers last week and the upcoming series with the Melfort Mustangs. And tonight we'll be chatting with Ice Wolves assistant coach Gavin Holcomb, as well as Ice Wolves players Smerek and Skyler Hladun. And then later on, in our fan segment from the stands, we'll be chatting with Ice Wolves followers Roger Schooly, Keith Kratchmer, and Skalicky. Should be a great show. We'll see you right back. Welcome back to Ice Wolves Insider, and we're chatting now with Ice Wolves assistant coach Gavin Holcomb. Gavin, welcome to the program.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so it's been a little while. Let's talk about the series that was before we preview the Melfort series. Obviously, you guys disposed of the Flin Flon Bombers in 5 games. We haven't talked to you since the first couple of games. Let's go back to, well, first off, let's just get a general comment about why you thought overall that you guys were successful against the Bombers and finished them off in 5 games.
I thought we, stuck to the game plan pretty much throughout the whole series. We played the kind of hockey that we want to play, and we kind of prepped pretty good. Bob was able to watch a few games of them, when they played Battleford, so had a good feeling of what they were going to bring to the table, and we were, able to prepare that way. And we did play them quite a few times near the end of the year, so we knew what to expect for the most part, and they're a team that you just have to stay composed against, and we did a good job of that.
Yeah. Let's go back to games 3 and 4 at the Whitney Forum. Now, the way you guys performed there this season, as well as just on the road overall, in a way that was almost home ice advantage there as well for you guys. Yet, as it turns out, you guys split those 2 games, and the games were actually relatively close compared to the other ones. Maybe kind of explain what happened there in those 2 games.
Well, it's not an easy rink to go into at any time. I thought the first game, both teams were a little bit flat. It didn't really have the playoff atmosphere that it had, in La Ronge. We addressed a few things after that game. That was a 2-1 loss, and the next game was pretty much night and day. The next game had a real playoff feel to it. They were desperate to tie the series at 2. It was a lot more of an intense game. Both teams brought a lot more intensity, and we were able to come out with the win that game.
Yeah. You think the Bombers were more disciplined on home ice than they were at the Hladun Uniplex in this series?
There was quite a few penalties in Flin Flon too, but I know that starting game 3, especially game 4 and 5, you could hear their coach telling them to try and be more disciplined because our power play was doing so well. So I think they were kind of caught in the middle. They were trying to be disciplined, but they were still taking penalties at the same time.
And speaking of the power play, I think you guys were 37% with the man advantage in that series against Flin Flon. Obviously a huge key. That's close to 40%. I'm not sure if you guys were expecting that kind of clip, but obviously it worked for you guys.
Yeah, it did. I wasn't aware that it was as high as it is, but we did have a lot of opportunities on the power play, and we, especially the last couple of games, our puck movement just got a lot better. I thought the first games we were a little bit tight, but we started to loosen up and just started shooting pucks, and when you're putting lots of pucks on net and getting as many opportunities as we did, hopefully we're putting it in.
Yeah. Okay, looking ahead to the next series, Melfort Mustangs, a very tough opponent. You guys did win the season series, though, in the last couple of meetings, I believe. Mm-hmm. Maybe just talk about, based on your experience, what we might expect to see or what you might expect to see from the Mustangs in the upcoming series.
Well, it's going to be a very hard series. Expect to see a lot of speed, capitalizing on mistakes. They have 4 lines that can play. They have arguably one of the best goalies in the league, and they're strong defensively too. I'm expecting the games to be low scoring and tight. It's just going to be an exciting series, as all the games have been against Melfort this year.
You know, the Mustangs seem to be one of those teams that, you know, you could play well against, you seem to carry the play, you maybe have the advantage in shots, yet you look on the scoreboard and they've beaten you 5-2 occasionally. You know, obviously they're a team that capitalizes on opportunities. Are you guys tweaking things at all, or I guess preparing the players for that sort of opponent that you're facing here?
Yeah, we know that we're going to have to be efficient. Every line's going to have to be efficient. We're going to have to play simple hockey and try and keep them to the outside, protect the middle as much as we can, and honor their speed. You know, we have to have a lot of respect for them and respect the skill that they have. It's going to be important for us to play our game at the same time and make sure that we're finishing checks and putting pucks in tough places for them, and just really getting in front of their goaltender and making it hard for him.
Yeah. Now, looking back to the Flin Flon series, one of the things that I thought was overlooked was the fact that you guys were basically going without 5 or 6 regulars, guys that have been with you guys for most of the year. It sounds like you guys are going to be welcoming back a few players for this series. Can you give us a bit of an update on the injury situation?
Yeah, it looks like Doug will be back for the start of this series. He's been skating the last few days. Phil Cleach looks like he'll be back as well, which is, you know, those are our 2 good guys to have back in our lineup. Stephen Cook is possible to be back to start the series. He's kind of day-to-day right now, and that's the same with Taylor Pillar. All
right. I guess in a way it almost kind of creates a good problem for you guys, because now you have to figure out a way to, I guess, adjust a winning lineup and fit those guys in. Has it been tough this week, kind of working out how you might do line combinations, defense pairings, that sort of thing?
Well, it's an ongoing thing, you know, especially when guys are day-to-day. We just don't know who's going to totally be ready for Friday. But, you know, it is a nice problem to have, you know, being able to spot guys in and have different combinations and have the depth that we do, and it enables us to give guys rest that need rest. So it's just an ongoing thing day by day, and, you know, we probably won't know what our final roster will be till Friday, and then that could change to Saturday. So,
all right. Well, Gavin, have a great weekend, and thanks very much for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider, and we've been talking with Ice Wolves assistant coach Gavin Holcomb. We'll be right back with the players Graham Smerek and Skyler Hladun.
Wetlands improve water quality and quantity and provide recreational opportunities, but they're disappearing fast. We're doing something about it. Become a member today and help conserve Canada's wetlands. Ducks Unlimited Canada, active by nature.
Welcome back to Ice Wolves Insider, and we're joined now by Ice Wolves players Graham Smerek and Skyler Hladun. Guys, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, first off, obviously you guys took care of the Bombers in 5 games. What did you guys see as the keys to victory over Flin Flon? Start with you there, Skyler.
I think discipline was a big factor in it. We kept our composure, and when they took penalties, we capitalized, and any mistake that they made, we jumped on and put the puck in the back of the net. And when we did take penalties, our PK did a pretty good job on killing most of them off. So I think special teams is a huge factor in the win for the series.
Right. Graham?
Getting pucks behind their D was I thought was the biggest key. Their D were big, but they were slow, and when we got pucks behind them, we were easy. It was easy to cycle around and get a lot of opportunities on them. And because they're so slow, they would grab onto us and take penalties, and we could easily capitalize with the guys we have.
Yeah. You know, you talk about the penalties, and you know, from a fan's point of view, it just looked like there was a lot of cheap shots delivered in this series, and there must have been times when it was tough to keep your heads. It seemed you guys did. How difficult was it, though, to keep your cool when you know, perhaps the referee would overlook certain things? Maybe just talk about that. I'll start with you there, Graham.
Well, the ref couldn't call everything. Can't call 50 penalties in a game, but I didn't mind it at all. I like playing a rough game, and you know, they were taking cheap shots, but it's pretty easy to take a slash and win 9-3, right? Makes you makes it that much easier to win the game.
There you go. Skyler?
It's tough to turn away from some of that stuff. I mean, you gotta think of a team aspect, and you gotta let it go and try and capitalize on the power play. But there's a lot of times where you just want to grab a guy, but I mean, you have to let it go and take the penalty and suck it up, and then hopefully your team can score for you on the power play.
Yeah.
Make them pay.
That certainly seems to be the story of the series, as well as Game 5 in particular. Obviously, as Graham alluded to, a 9-3 blowout. You guys were really huge on the power play. The game didn't start off the way you guys wanted to, obviously. I think it was Andrew Johnson that opened the scoring for the Bombers at 1-0. Obviously, you guys didn't panic. What was the key to victory in terms of you rolling to victory? Then start with you there, Skyler.
I think we just had to stay composed. I mean, yeah, we got off to a little bit of a slow start, but we battled back, just stayed composed, and didn't take any stupid penalties, and stuck to our game plan, get it in deep, run the D, and put pucks on net, and you got to get in front of music always to get a goalie. So we got in front and threw pucks in net, and it got the ball rolling.
Yeah. Graham, what did you see as the keys to the lopsided victory there?
Well, after the quick goal, we had to get right back on them right away and give them nothing. We've had a few slow starts this year, and we've always been able to make the game close. I don't think we've gotten blown out too bad this year. Definitely just sticking to our game plan and realizing there's a lot of hockey left.
Yeah. And speaking of which, of course, the upcoming series with the Mustangs, you guys, I think, played them about 6 times this year. Maybe describe what type of team they are. What have you noticed in terms of the style of play that they employ? I'll start with you there, Skyler.
They got a really good goal in Cheryl's course. I'm assuming he'll play every game against us, and you got to get people in front of him. If he's going to see it, he's going to stop it, and there's not going to be much rebounds. But if he can't see it, he'll kick out rebounds, and we just got to get greasy. But they got a lot of talented forwards that can put the puck in the net. So we can't make any mistakes. They'll jump on it, and like I was saying earlier, it could be a 2-1 game, and that one mistake can be the difference. But their D-men are bigger, and they're kind of soft. So I mean, if we dump it in and run their D-men, they're just going to be coughing the puck up to us, and now just got to put the rubber on net and hope it goes in.
Okay, Graham, what do you see as the keys to beating the Mustangs there?
Well, they have a lot of skill, but not a lot of grit in their lineup. You know, they have a few guys that can really lay the body, but they have a lot of guys that will shy away from the body contact. So we really need to get on them early, take them out of the game early, and put the puck in the net when we can, because they have a very good goalie.
Yeah. What kind of series are you guys expecting? Like, obviously the intensity gets ramped up, but in the playoffs. But you know, you guys have also played a lot of games with the Mustangs where there's just seemed that speed and skill kind of ruled the day, sort of thing. So what kind of series are you expecting? Expecting a lot of animosity, kind of like what we saw with the Flin Flon series, or do you think it's going to be a little bit toned down and more hockey? I'll start with you there, Skyler.
I think it's going to be. I think we're going to be maybe not as physical as Flin Flon, but we're going to try and make a physical game. If we start hitting them, they're going to shy down from pucks, and we'll be able to beat them to corners. But I'm not expecting what Flin Flon brings to the table, because I think that Melfort was a lot more talented than them. But we're just going to play the same style that we did against Flin Flon. It's just another team.
Yeah, Graham.
Well, taking them out early is huge, right? They're really skilled. They have a really good defensive, but they're not as physical, and they're so skilled. And if we play our skilled game, you know, it's going to be a very close series. But I believe if we play a simple game, hit them, make them quit, then I think it will be hopefully we'll come out of the series.
Yeah. Okay. Final question. I just want to talk about the crowds we've seen in the playoffs. Obviously, they're bigger than what we've seen in the regular season. Do you guys notice this on the bench and on the ice? I'll start with you there, Skyler.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the dressing room, and you could hear the fans getting ramped up, kicking the stands, and that gets you fired up. But our fans were awesome here. We had good fan support. I mean, they're throwing fish, they're throwing frying pans on the ice. It's awesome when they get into it. But going into the Whitney Forum, I thought the fans were going to be a lot more nuts. They were actually pretty calm. I was expecting to be pretty loud and rowdy in there, and it wasn't compared to what I thought it was going to be. They're fairly calm, but I think a lot of our fans came down, and we had a whole section when we scored, and it was almost as loud as their fans. It was just kind of dead in there.
Interesting. Graham, you get the final take on the fans here.
Oh, I love the fans here. They bring a lot of energy to us as a team. They're throwing fish on the ice. I've never seen that before, so that was definitely a new thing for me. Yeah, they're just, if they come to support us every game, it's very hard to knock it up and try to, get the win for them.
Yeah. Well, Graham, Skyler, best wishes on the weekend, and thanks very much for being on the program tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider, and we've been chatting with Ice Wolves players Graham Smerek and Skyler Hladun. We'll be right back with From the Stands.
Some people think wetlands are wastelands. Actually, marshes and other wetlands are important ecosystems, home to an amazing diversity of wildlife. Without them, some species would disappear. We would suffer too, since wetlands help purify and control the levels of our water. Many of these fragile areas are being lost to development, so let's do what we can to protect wetlands. To learn more, visit hww.ca.
Welcome back to Ice Wolves Insider, and it's now time for our usual fan segment, From the Stands. And tonight we're joined by Ice Wolves followers Roger Schooly, Keith Kratchmer, and Curtis Skalicky. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Nice to be back.
All right, yeah. So, so far so good for the Ice Wolves. 2011 playoffs obviously took care of the Bombers in 5 games. Talked a bit about that series. Any surprises for you guys in that 5-game affair between the Ice Wolves and the Bombers? So I'll start with you there, Keith.
Well, I think I was surprised they lost that one game in Flin Flon. I thought even that one they probably should have won, but I thought it would go 4 straight because the way they were playing in the last couple of weeks during the season, regular season, and the number of shots they were getting on Flin Flon, especially in the first 2 games, I thought it would be a sweep, but it basically went as expected.
Yeah.
So not any major surprises in that one, I don't think.
Roger?
Oh, I actually thought it might go 6 games or 7, but I just thought that they would come up with a better effort. Flin Flon, excuse me. I thought that they would be a more physical team than they were, and I thought that they would give us a little more trouble than they did. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah. It's all about the physicality. They seemed to try, and really got into penalty trouble in that series. Seemed to be really undisciplined. Did that surprise you at all, or were you expecting that would be part of the Bomber brand, if you will?
Well, I think, yeah, I guess part of the Bomber brand, if you want to call it that right now. I think they felt they had to play physical to beat us, and I think pretty well any team we meet in this league is going to feel that way because of the speed and skill we have up front. I just don't think they were quick enough to they couldn't get a forecheck going to inflict any damage on our back end and slow us down. So,
Curtis, any surprises from round 2? I guess.
Well, you kind of looked at it, and we got the smaller barn, and we were freewheeling, and the scores 7-3, 6-3, 9-3, and sure we had the home crowd, but going onto a larger ice surface, I thought it would be more to our advantage, and the scores. I mean, sure we were 1-1, but I mean they came on like gangbusters in that 4th game, and with a bounce here or there, they could have easily won that game too. So I was surprised on how freewheeling we were able to produce quality scoring chances in our own barn on smaller ice surfaces as compared to over in Flin Flon. But the number of games, it didn't surprise me.
Okay.
One of the things too was the number of shots that we had that didn't go into the net. Like Musico was just unbelievable. Like 55 shots, I think we averaged during the games here, and he made some very good saves. And then this last game, I think at the end they just gave up. They just knew that they were beaten, and they certainly didn't seem to be as trying as hard as they were previously. So, but they did get good goaltending in spite of the number of goals that we got. I thought.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I think we've adapted well to the strength of this team. Like last year, we were a big physical team. This year, even though we're more skilled and more and higher tempo, I think what you're seeing, not seeing the stretch pass very often. You're seeing lots of little passes coming in out of the zone. Guys are moving when they're getting the puck, and guys are moving when they after they move the puck. and it makes it hard on teams to slow you down, even on a small ice surface like this.
That's a great point, Roger. Oh, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
And even in front of the net, they're just tic-tac-toe passing has improved a lot this year.
A lot of people wonder, a lot of Ice Wolves followers have wondered over the years, because we have the small rink, do we have to be a physical outfit that relies mainly on being a kind of a bigger physical club? And it seems that we've answered that question this year, that Skill Club could just have as much success as possible, although you seem to be...
Well, we're not exactly a pushover.
Yeah.
Like, we have some guys that are quite physical, and even a couple of guys on our top line, Lyndon Smith and Egum aren't scared to throw the body around, and you even see Mark Henry doing that a little more this year than he did last year. I think what you're seeing though is the game plan Bob's putting together, and Gavin is with the short passes rather than getting caught up ice, and those passes not getting through. You're seeing lots of little short passes with speed, and if you ever watch one of Bob's practices, that's basically what they are. You watch them there. Lots of movement with short passes and quick passes, and guys don't hang on to the puck long, eh?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, I think.
That's
Okay,
right.
looking ahead to the Melfort Mustangs, obviously a very quality outfit there. What kind of series are you expecting? First off, maybe we'll just get some predictions in terms of how long you think it's going to go and that sort of thing. But what kind of series do you think we're going to see here between the Mustangs and the Ice? We'll start with you there, Curtis.
Well, the Mustangs will probably play a very similar game to what the Bombers did, but at a higher tempo and a higher level. Bigger back end, lots of bodies trying to intimidate us physically, and will they be able to keep up to us and catch us when we get that puck into their zone and cycle? Except for Johnson, I mean, they're not an overly physical defensive core, but they are big. So again, you like your chances. We were 4-2 in the regular season against them. We basically since Christmas have been, for all intent and purposes, unbeatable, except when the games really didn't matter too much. And I could see this game going 4, but you could also see it going 7. The games I don't think are going to get lopsided one way or another. Going to be a lot of tight games, potentially 2 or 3 of them into overtime. So it's just, are we just that much better in each game? That could very well be the difference.
Roger, your take on what we might see as storylines, perhaps?
Well, I think you're going to see Melfort plug up the neutral zone. They're going to try to take away those short passes, try to make us regroup and come back. And they showed us over a number of years with Daryl Mann as their coach that they're going to score off the turnover. They're going to wait, and then when there's a turnover, they're going to take their chances. And if that doesn't work, then they're going to reset. They're going to plug up the neutral zone and try to take the speed away from us, and wait for their next chance. And I think you'll see that, and a lot of it's going to come down to our patience, I think. If we're willing to regroup and keep going back and try to break that trap, because they won't actually send a guy in and chase you. They'll just set it up so you go out one side of the rink, and so it's going to take some cross ice D-to-D passes and some patience to break that. So
yeah, Keith, what are you looking forward to? I guess seeing in this series in terms of questions.
Well, if we can come out in the first game like we did last time, where we just came out with full speed. That created a lot of discipline problems that Flin Flon had, and if Melfort can maintain their discipline, I don't think they'll run into as many problems. But if we can get them to do the clutching and the grabbing and the penalties and get the man advantage, I think we'll have a definite advantage over them in that area. If they get good goaltending, that could certainly keep them in the games. But I think it's going to be another high number of shots on goal for us. And if their goaltending is good, it'll keep down the score. But if it's not, they could be routs. But I would think, like Curtis said, it could go 4-6, I would think, at the most. Either way, if they get momentum and we start losing momentum, it could go that way too. But I would pick Larange in 6 max.
I think the face-offs in the neutral zone and in the offensive zone are going to be huge. When the face-offs are in our zone, they can set up that trap. But if you can create opportunities off the draw, whether it's in the neutral zone, at your own blue line, at their blue line, in deep with them, by controlling the draw, it's going to make a big difference in this series, I think.
Yeah, guys like Shushaw were just lights out in the Flin Flon series in the circle there. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guys, thanks so much for being on the program. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Scully.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us, this is Ice Wolves Insider. This has been another edition of From the Stands. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Well, that's all the time we have for this evening's edition of Ice Wolves Insider. I want to thank our special guests this evening. That would be Ice Wolves followers Roger Schooly, Curtis Skalicky, and Keith Kratchmer, as well as our Ice Wolves contingent assistant coach Gavin Holcomb, as well as Ice Wolves players Graham Smerek and Hladun. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.